Hello and good evening. My name is Marcus Ruiz Evans, founder of CalExit and president of one of the many CalExit organizations. By the way, welcome the Free Republic of California to the movement. Greetings, my fellow Californians. I am speaking to you all today about the issues we face as a state currently and what we have to look forward to if we reestablish our nationhood through pursuit of self determination. Over the last 20 years, just since the start of the new millennium, Californians have seen dramatic change in our lifestyles. Where Californians once saw prosperity in their endeavors, by and large, we now all struggle to survive. Where Californians once had beautiful sweeping forests, we now have burnt out stumps and a ghastly reminder of what happens to our lands when they are neglected and not managed properly. Where once there was a town named Paradise, there are now smoldering ruins, shadows of a forgotten California dream. Where we once saw equity of California skyrocketing across our land, now we see the largest number of people who are homeless ever in California history. Though we are suffering under current constraints and socioeconomic policies, we do still lead the way in some aspects. While President Trump removed America from the Paris Climate Accord, our commander in chief, our governor, decided to help ensure our future by getting California a seat at that table. That's a huge deal, folks. America isn't doing it, just us here in sunny California. In fact, this is not the only thing we still partake in while America sits on the sidelines. California was one of the first places in the Americas, North, Central, South, and Pacific, to lock down and start a quarantine process during this pandemic. It should be noted that California, with nearly 40 million people, did rather well at this, especially when compared to places that have much smaller and fewer populations, such as North Dakota and South Dakota. While we did not achieve perfection on this issue, we did set an example for many, many people, more than just our own, around the entire planet. We proved that a massively populous and economically gargantuan entity can indeed quarantine and contain as best as possible. We here in California like to set a good example, not only for America, but for the rest of the world. We are natural leaders, and in the global economy, we love to lead too. We produce most of the top 50 most demanded, sought after foodstuffs in the world, and are the top 5 production of almost everything people use. In other words, California goods are highly sought after, in high demand, and we produce a fair amount of each. With that being stated, it should also be noted that our goods, unfortunately, do not typically make it to the hungriest bellies in the world. This is largely due to the fact that California cannot directly control our goods and production, nor can we control the pricing and distribution of our own goods. That is all handled by the federal government of the USA, and they like to play games with our California commodities, our made here in California things. If we controlled the goods along every step of the process, we could see a stemming of the tidal wave that is world hunger. California may not be able to solve that problem all on our own, but we wouldn't have to. If our goods made it to the open market at fair prices, we would be setting another huge example for the rest of the planet to follow. But our crops suffer under global warming conditions, some say. True. But that is also why joining the Paris Climate Accord was so immensely important to us here in California. When we act to protect our environment, when we act to protect our crops as well, when we protect our people, whether they are American citizens or not, we are protecting our crops and thus our way of life. When we strengthen friendships with other nations, such as Scotland, by cultural and education exchange, we are protecting our people and way of life. When we do these things, however, we are going against the grain, so to speak, of America and its values, which are not our own. When we lead the way, we show our true power and potential as an independent nation, even if we aren't technically one. When we go it alone, we would actually be one of the most requested friends in the world. And if we were to be fully independent, that would still hold true. Indeed, most countries, first world and second world, wish to have access to our goods and services. as well as to be able to move to our beautiful land and make a life for themselves, be it in our beautiful coastal regions, our desert, our snow capped Sierra Nevada mountains, or in the agricultural heartland where I live. There is enough of everything here that no Californian should ever be left to fall by the wayside. We have enough food to feed our people, yet many, including a vast number of our own California kids, go without food and are hungry every day. We have a strong drive towards higher and better education, yet so many of us never step foot into higher education here in California. We have certain protections for those who live amongst us as one of our own, yet ICE agents still harass and illegally arrest and deport our California brethren. We have a huge Armenian population, which has seen an immense and immediate outcry of solidarity from the majority of the rest of us. Enough that world leaders in Europe and elsewhere decided to step up rather than be outdone by California. We have led the way on pushing for peace time and again, and will continue to do so time and again. Californians protested against the Korean, Vietnamese, and Iraq wars, only to have the federal government of the USA continue on its warpath regardless of our opinions in this democracy. While we cry out for the people of Artsakh, the federal government of the USA remains silent. California has openly recognized the genocide of 1915 to the Armenian people, as well as sought the sovereignty of Artsakh, while America continues to do none of those things. Indeed, while we here in California show love for many different peoples and cultures around the world with great enthusiasm, such as our California Carnival, America seems to relish the disparity and sorrow caused by their lack of world leadership and their understanding of other cultures. When Australia was under an immense firestorm, we here in California sent some of our wildfire fighters to help get them under control and contain the fires. America yet again was silent when our firefighters returned home, only to find our California homeland under similar conditions as the Australia they just left. They went right back to work and had help from friends outside of our golden land here in California. We have proven that working together to save each other is truly in all of our best interests. We have set an example for the rest of the world, yet again a noble example, but we must not stop there. Should we choose to pursue independence through the Articles of Self-Determination, we will have some muck to wade through in the beginning, and that is to be expected. This will be a direct result from having been kept under the thumb or heel or knee of an oppressive overlord for 150 years. We can make it through the tough times, though, together as Californians, in one nation. We Californians are generally more compassionate, more caring, and generally more loving of our neighbors than those who call themselves Americans and the American government itself. With this mindset, this strength of heart and character, we can take ourselves to the next level. We can move on to bigger and better things. That speech was written by Jason Wright, aka Jason Von Schrader, Bay Area Regional Coordinator, Calix at NYES, California.